Welcome back, investigators, to the Intrepid Expedition. I'm your host, Graham. As a reminder, this is a solo Mark Harrigan playthrough of the Forgotten Age Arkham Horror LCG. We are playing on hard mode. We are using the taboo list, and I am using the Explore variant, where you remove treacheries from Explore decks to help with the scaling. Well, today we got a treat for you. We got a real special treat, and that treat is the Boundary Beyond. Everyone's favorite, notoriously grindy, notoriously very difficult. It's one of those push your luck scenarios. You know, you got like 6 objectives in this one, and you're trying to get as many of those as you can. But turns out real hard to get basically any of them. And mechanically, the way that they do that is trying to do anything just hurts you, which is a different kind of challenge than I think some of the other Arkham scenarios work. So this is a classic one that people love to complain about, and I'm sure that I will do my fair share of complaining for that. So as always, there's timestamps in the video description. So I'm going to talk about what's going on in the scenario first. If you want to skip ahead to what my deck looks like or my mulligan strategy, we'll come back to that in just a second. Quick reminder, in the lead up to this, we played Threads of Fate. I helped out Alejandro. I kind of made a misstep near the end, and I was not able to save the relic. We got there just a moment too late, and the Brotherhood had made off with it. We're like, what is the Brotherhood? So we're going to Mexico to find out who or what is the Brotherhood. Going into this scenario, I had the option to spend 8 supply points on supplies, and honestly, the options didn't feel amazing to me. So starting at the bottom of the list, pickaxe, 2 supply points. That's mostly there to combat a treachery in Heart of the Elders that tests combat, and Mark's really good at combat, so no worries. Pocket knife mostly applies if you save the relic, and I did not save the relic, so it doesn't matter. So I ended up taking chalk because binoculars already had. Compass is mostly, I want to say it's used for filtering out the Explore deck, and with my solo Explore deck variant, by removing treacheries, the compass really isn't that helpful. However, the compass would let us explore at one of those locations in Heart of the Elders. The Circuitous Trail, I believe. So maybe I should take that instead of chalk. That's the only thing I can figure. Canteen I already have. Blanket I decided to take. Normally I don't take the blanket ever, but you know, I think the trauma matters more for Mark. He tries to manage his health and sanity so actively, so I think the trauma is just generally bad for him. And then medicine I still have left over, so I took 2 gasoline and 2 provisions. Then going through the setup for this, we're driving to Mexico, and it's me, and it's Alejandro, and it's Ichitaka in the car, and Ichitaka's not saying anything. So we start with 2 fewer cards in our opening hand. However, Alejandro has been very helpful, so we actually start with 2 additional resources, which is great. We don't have the relic anymore, so we have Growing Concern, which just means that we don't have the relic in our deck. And we almost ran out of gas, but remember I brought a couple tanks of gas with me, so we're fine. We arrive in Mexico City. We're like, who is the Brotherhood? And Alejandro's like, well, I have this kind of ex-coworker colleague of mine, but she is real mean. And we went and talked to her, and she's like, you are stupid, and your research is dumb, and you're a poopy head. So we didn't get anything from her. So then Ichitaka's like, well, what if I did this secret ritual while everyone was sleeping? And it didn't go over really well. And now we're in a post-apocalyptic future where there's monsters everywhere, and there's blood pouring out on the streets, and everything sucks. So we have 2 tokens in the bag. We're using the Guardians of Time and Yig's Venom and counter sets, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's about it. So let's set that up real quick. agenda deck says the boundary broken. Ichitaka is already up when you wake up, and you're like, what are you doing? And she's like, it wasn't me. But it was you, Ichitaka. We know. We know it was you. Crossing the threshold. As you leave the hotel, you're like, sup? What's going on? And Ichitaka's like, this could be the future if we screw up. So, after the first Tenochtitlan location enters play by successfully exploring, we need to advance. And that's going to actually provoke a powerful, tough willpower test, because they needed to throw more terrible things in our direction. So we have to be careful about that. Let's go ahead and set up our encounter, or our explore deck, excuse me. Like I said, I'm removing these 3 treacheries from that encounter deck. And then let's talk about my deck and my strategy with said deck. So switch screens. Let's see if I do this right. Whoa. Yeah, that was awesome. Here's my deck. I upgraded to a second Armor of Ardennes, because that's kind of what I'm trying to showcase here. It's real good. And I upgraded my 45s because that +2 to hit is very relevant on the harder difficulties here. That's pretty much all I did. I took out some stuff that doesn't matter. We're at the point where like the key pieces of my deck are starting to lock in, so it will be interesting to see what I decide to take out moving forward. Because even the weird stuff like Active Desperation is a nice third economy card after the emergency caches, and Interrogate is actually really neat when it works. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But we're not there yet. We're not there. So let's talk about my mulligan strategy. So like I said, this is an Armor of Ardennes deck, and it's actually a really useful tool for managing Mark's health, because I do use Sophie so much. Alex Luxley is also really nice as a horror soak, among other things. She does do that 3rd point of damage that I need to help kill all the snake dudes. And we don't have Brood of Yiggs, but we do have the other ones. The Fang of Yig, is that the name of the other one? Anyway, we got some 3 health enemies in here. Flashlight of Perception helps get those clues once I bring them into play, and then a weapon is always nice, right? So, there you have it. Let's dig into the game with an opening hand. Remember that I'm only drawing 3 cards because Ichitaka didn't talk to us on the car ride. She was like, you guys left me hanging, and I'm real mad about it. This is actually a pretty good hand. I mean, I could so I want to take the initiative, because when we explore, we're going to have to take a hard willpower test. I want to keep Alice because she's going to help soak horror, and I want to keep the Enchanted Blade because it's a weapon. I could mulligan the Enchanted Blade to try to draw into the armor, because that would be really good, and then use Prepare for the Worst to pull out a weapon later. But, you know, if you think about it, I'm spending an action to play Prepare for the Worst to get back the blade, when I could just spend that action to draw the next card off the top of my deck. So, I'm actually just going to leave it how it is. I think this is fine. So my starting location is Coyoacán, which says take a damage or a horror to explore. And honestly, I don't mind necessarily taking the damage to explore here. So actually my plan is to reuse this location. So I'm going to explore here, bring a location into play, and then go somewhere else. And if I happen to draw a treachery that has to remove a location from the game or add a doom, I'll choose to remove this location, because I can always come back, block the damage with the armor, and bring it back into play. So that's my game plan. It's my Gucci game plan. But my first turn is going to be a setup turn. Are you ready? First action, gain 3 resources with emergency cache. Second action, spend those 3 resources on Enchanted Blade. Last action, I was going to play Alice If I draw a Lost in Time treachery, though, then I lose Alice, and I'm going to be real mad. So do I need, like a smoking pipe or something to safeguard it? No, I mean, I should, and when I draw Lost in Time, I'll be like, oh, see, I told you so. But in this case, I'm just going to power forward here. Flip, flip, flip. Upkeep phase. Go to the Mythos phase of round 2. May give that encounter deck a nice good shuffle. We're going to draw out the Fang of Yig. The Fang has arrived. So this enemy is at a very central location. So I'm going to pass through here, and I think I just want this guy to be dead. It would be cool if I had already explored and had some clues out so I could interrogate this this Fang, but what can you do, right? So, yeah, let's mess him up. First action, use the Enchanted Blade. I'm going to spend a charge, so I get +2 to my attack, and I'm going to deal 2 damage. So I'm at 7 on 3. That's my first action. 7 on 3 is right about where I want to be. Got to be 4 up on basically every test. Well, I missed. The Yig retaliates. The Fang, excuse me, retaliates. So I take the damage and a horror, which is going to draw me a card. Cool. Expedition Journal. Neat. Second action, I'm going to spend another charge on the Enchanted Blade. We're going to do the exact same thing. I'm 4 up on this test. Draw a minus. This is Threads of Fate. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. I want this. This guy would get flipped. So let's drop this bad boy here. And it says -4. Place a clue on the nearest ancient location while there are no ancient locations out. So that's 2 damage to the Fang. And then last action, I'm just going to stab it. I'm a 6 on 3 for this last one. And I don't think it's worth it for me to... Well, it kind of is worth it. I want to be 1 more up on this. And I might use Sophie. Yeah, I think I will. So I'm going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on 3. Well, -6 again. So retaliate, which is cool. Then in the enemy phase, what do you know? The Fang of Yig is going to attack me again, which draws me a card. And then in the upkeep phase, this is classic swinginess of true solo in my mind, where, you know, if you miss once or twice on a retaliate enemy, you know, I went from having no horror to 3 horror in 1 turn from 1 encounter card draw. I've wasted a ton of resources and a ton of time. So this 1 card has been really bad because I happen to draw the -6 twice. And if you're playing with multiple investigators, then you actually have a chance to, like, you know, deal with some of this stuff. Because the other person can pick up the slack, right? All right, so arrows from the trees. I'm going to take 2 damage. And I don't want to put both of the damage on me because then I get -1 to all my stats. So I'm going to put 1 damage on Alice, which kills her off. And then 1 damage goes on me, and my mark ability goes off when I draw a card. All right, here we go. So I can't use Sophie anymore. I'm pretty much maxed out on her. So, but I do have emergency aid in hand, so all is not lost. I'm a 5, 6 on 3. On my first action fighting this thing. And I drew 0. Hey, look at that. So I killed the Fang. It took 4 actions, and it dealt 3 damage and 3 horror to me. So just like the worst treachery ever, right? So I killed it, which is great. Now what do I do with my life? Well, let's definitely get down. Let's play Emergency Cash. And then I will get down Alejandro as damage and horror soak to hold me over until I can play Emergency Aid. So Emergency cash and Alejandro. My last 2 actions. Enemy phase nothing. Upkeep. We go up to the top. Boop, boop, boop. We go up to round 4. 3 doom. And we get timeline destabilization. And I have no ancient locations in place, so I'm a 3-on-1. It would be really nice if I could just not have to worry about a test. So I would take a damage and a horror, but that can go on Alejandro, which isn't the end of the world. So I'm just going to take this test. I'm 2 up, 3-on-1. +1. Hey, there you go. Something went our way. That's awesome. So let's see here. I think I want to queue myself up to explore next turn. Ideally, I play the Expedition Journal and then explore. But then my Take the Initiative gets roll banned if I do that. So I think I have to wait till next turn. So we'll play the Expedition Journal for 2. I'll play Emergency Aid for 2. That's going to heal me 2, which is cool. It's my first 2 actions. And then my draw naturally is very strong as Mark. So rather than draw a card, I'm going to take a resource because I tend to be pretty poor with this deck, especially because I've had to like replay a bunch of allies and I'll have to play another weapon soon, and that money's going to be important. So enemy nothing. Upkeep. Flip. Boop, boop, boop. Draw a card. Gain a resource. Go up to the top. Mythos phase. Round number 5. Esley Guardian. Any empty location. Ancient if able. And, well, there's no ancient locations. But I got this Guardian to deal with. So now, the only interesting thing here is I could interrogate the Guardian. And so I want to think of a place where I would care about that. And I'm leaning towards Chapultepec Park because I'm kind of going to stay on this end of the map for a little bit. And, you know, I don't like that. Well, I don't want to put it in Zocalo, right? Because that connects to so many locations. So I could put it in the cathedral and then just never deal with him. But I guess I will try putting him in the park so I can interrogate him later on. So that's what we'll do. Boop. Okay, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to explore. So let's put one of those there. And as my first action, I'm going to explore with the Expedition Journal. And we're going to look for, what are we looking for? Purple stars. So as part of this explore, I'm going to take a damage or a horror, and I will take a damage and put it on Alejandro, which is going to draw me a card. Great. Second win, I can maybe play next turn, and then I will be back in business. All right, so I'm looking for purple stars. Show me purple stars. Going for purple stars. Here we go. Here, let's zoom in closer so we can get a more dramatic view of me flipping these cards over. Purple stars. Who's got the purple stars? No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Purple stars, purple stars. Okay, I've drawn 7 cards. 6 remain. 2 are purple stars. 1 is a treachery. What's it going to be? No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Sacred Woods. That comes into play. And that has a clue on it. And Sacred Woods says, increase the cost of each card you play by 2. Well, I don't even want to hang out here. Comes into play with a clue on it. And it gets -1 for every asset that I control, which is kind of cool. And I'm not going to end up staying there, but first we have to advance. So the investigator who just put a Tenochtitlan location into play, that was me, I have to test 4 willpower. And if I fail, I have to search the collection for a random basic madness or injury weakness. So advancing here is a forced effect, right? Essentially it is. After the first location enters play by exploring. So I don't know if my explore action has finished resolving yet or not. Take the initiative loses an icon for each action that's already been completed. You know what, this game's hard enough. I'll say no. I'll say this action has not yet been completed. This is a a forced effect trigger that is like a nested trigger. I explored, which brought the location into play, which then has to be resolved. I guess that makes sense, right? I could be wrong. That's okay. I'm playing on hard. I don't need extra difficulty here, right? So I'm testing willpower 4, and I'm at an ancient location now. So this is what my bag looks like. So I'll be up to an 8. I need to get to an 8 for this test. So I'm a 3. Commit, take the initiative. That'll make me a 6. And we'll use Sophie for an 8. I already used my mark ability this phase when I explored. Okay, so I'm good. I am 3, 6, 8 on 4, and I draw a +1. Wow. Wow, I passed the test, so I don't have to add a stupid whatever weakness to my deck. Alright, so now I'm just looking for paths. Cool. Well, I'm going to move to somewhere else and bring a different location into play. Let's go to Templo Mayor, because Xochimilco, I want to say you need money to explore there. Zocalo, you need... I think you have to discard a bunch of cards from your hand, right, to explore there. I don't remember the cathedral, but that's kind of far away. Maybe I'll just stay close. So ideally, I'm going to go to the temple ruins, bring in like a single clue location, and then use interrogate on that other enemy and just pick up all the clues all at once. All right, so let's go to the temple ruins. It says double action explore. Okay, okay. That's not so bad. I mean, I might as well, right? So yeah, double action, let's explore. And I'm looking for yellow circle locations. So make sure this is all mixed up real good from the last time. And here we go, looking for yellow. Oh yeah. Oh, this was stupid. Okay, after Temple of Mayor enters play, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Discard cards from the top until a serpent enemy is discarded and spawn that enemy here. So that's maybe I shouldn't have done it like that. But here we are. Right side is once I kill that enemy, I discover a clue at this location. So, la-dee-da. Alright, so this goes into the deck. And then I have to discard cards until I get a serpent enemy. That's engaged with me. Looking for serpents. Looking for serpents. Who's got serpents? We got... Okay. Well, technically this is still in the deck, I think. So, those are all discarded. And I got the Serpent of Tenochtitlan. Which, hey, you know what? He is a victory point enemy, so it's not bad. We're at an ancient location with clues on it, so it gains retaliate and alert. Rude. Alright, so this is technically in the encounter deck still. And that's my turn. So, enemy phase, I do get attacked. I do get pounched, which I don't like. And I gotta decide if I care more about the damage or the horror. I think... See, I'd like to keep Alejandro around to soak up extra horror if I need it. So, do I take the damage on Mark? Obviously, this horror goes on Alejandro. The question is, do I kill Alejandro? Then I'm only 2 horror away from dying. At least that way I'm 3 horror away. And I have a heal card, 2 heal cards in my hand. Alright, I'll try it. I got some healing cards in my hand. I do get to draw a card from my mark ability. Then, upkeep phase. Flip, 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 flip. Draw a card. Gain a resource. Alice is back in town. We go up to 5 Doom. And I draw. Window to another time. So I'm going to choose. It's peril, so I can't talk to you about it. I'm going to choose and shuffle an ancient location back into the Explore deck. That is my decision. So the Sacred Woods goes back in. And I can maybe bring that out at a later time. Maybe when I'm passing back through Coyoacán on my way to Chapultepec. Was that the Mythos phase? Yeah, it was. All right, so it's back to my turn. Okay, so this guy sucks, and I hate him. Right now, my Enchanted Blade has a 2 damage shot on it. I got a Vicious Blow for 3 damage. I got a Home Front for 4 damage. And I need to do 5. So I'm going to have to attack at least twice. And I got to figure out the best way to spread that out. Probably use the Home Front without the charge on Enchanted Blade, because that's my lower accuracy attack. So we'll start with that. So first action, I'm fighting with the Home Front. Well, let's figure out what the math is on the other one. So if I spend a charge, I'm at 5, 6, 7, 8 with Vicious Blow, 8 on 3. Okay, I'll do that one first. Here we are. I'm not. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't getting shot at by this stupid Esli Guardian. Okay, so first action. I'm attacking. I'm spending my Enchanted Blade charge. Wish me luck. 5, 6, 7, 8 on 3. That puts me 5 up, which is all that I got. If I fail this, I maybe will just fail the entire scenario. So -2. Still in it, baby. Still in it. Here we go. Okay, so that was 2 damage. 2 damage. Here we go. Here we go. 3 damage, right? Because 1 for the attack, 1 for the blade charge, and 1 for Vicious Blow. 2 damage remains. Second action. Home Front. Come on, sweet baby. Come on, sweet baby. Here we go. So I'm a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on 3. Let's reveal another. If you fail, each serpent enemy at your location attacks you. And this has retaliate, so it actually attacks me twice. -3. Yeah. Who knew I would ever be so excited for -3? All right, so I deal a damage, and then Home Front moves the damage from Mark onto the Serpent of Tenochtitlan. So that gets thrown into the victory display. Wow, what a time to be alive, huh, gang? Wow. So I could explore. Oh, wait, hold on a second. After you defeat or evade a serpent enemy, discover 1 clue at this location. Thank you. I think I will. So obviously I'm not going to explore. We cleared our first location. Yay! That's awesome. Okay, so my next turn is going to be maybe Second Wind. Second Wind 1, 2 move to Coyoacán, 3 explore at Coyoacán, and then 4 head to Hojimilco or something. Maybe the Cathedral, actually. Basically trying to get away from the Guardian is my goal. While bringing the Coyoacán location back into play. That's kind of my goal. So that's what my next turn looks like. Which means this turn, I think I'm just going to play Prepared for the Worst and try to get out another weapon. I want to be prepared for that. So last action, Prepare for the Worst. Flashlight is the 9th card. So I got a weakness, armor, scene of the crime, perception, scene of the crime, smoking pipe, and double flashlight. So it whiffed, actually, which is a bummer. But we'll shuffle that up, and maybe we'll find a weapon much sooner now, which is cool. Great. Enemies. Nothing. Upkeep. Draw. Resource. Flip'ems. Smoking pipe. Good to see. We're at 6 doom, probably around 7 then. Lost in Time. I have to shuffle a non-story asset I control into my deck, moving all damage and horror from that asset to my investigator. So I could use the Expedition Journal, although I like the idea of extra actions. I also like the idea of kind of recharging this Enchanted Blade. And it's not, I don't have any charges on it, so my attack goes down by 1. Right? But I feel like that's not the worst thing ever. So my first action is definitely going to be to play Second Wind. It costs me 1, heals me 2 damage, and I draw a card. It's a flashlight. Okay, cool. I could dig for a weapon. I could play Alice Luxley. I don't think... Oh, no, but I've got Alejandro down, so I'll wait for that. I could play Smoking Pipe, so I'm not quite so close to dying, and use the Smoking Pipe to help draw. But I think I'd like to get... this location back out so I don't lose the Doom. But maybe the Doom doesn't matter as much. I don't want to make stupid decisions just to avoid losing rounds, but then lose rounds to like other effects. So I have 2 actions left, one with an Explore. I could move, Explore, move, which is what I was talking about before. But in order to do that, I'm going to take a damage or a horror, which is probably going to go on Alejandro. I mean, that'll draw me a card at least. But then I'll have a turn where I don't have any horror buffer. So alternatively, I could play Smoking Pipe and kill Alejandro by healing a horror. That's sort of a net neutral thing. I think the Doom doesn't matter that much. So I'm going to play Smoking Pipe as my second action. Let's use Smoking Pipe. So I'm going to heal a horror and take a damage, and the damage is going to go on Alejandro. Alejandro dies. It draws me a card. It's a Perception. I shuffled that, right? I did. Unless this is another Perception. No, it's not. Okay. That's fine. I have 1 action left. I could just take a resource because I'm going to need it. I'd like to get Alice down. I want to be able to play another weapon. I'll just take another resource. That's fine. Enemies nothing. Upkeep, draw a card, gain a resource. Scene of the crime. Again, more clue kind of cards. Go to 7 Doom. We're going to draw window to another time. So I'm not going to shuffle in an ancient location, so I do add the Doom, which does cause it to advance. And now we have to deal with the Harbinger without a weapon. Search the location, or search the collection for the Harbinger. And if there's 6 or more tally marks under Yig's Fury, which there's only 4, then it would spawn with me. Otherwise, it enters play at the location furthest from all investigators. So here's my Harbinger. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I guess. I mean, I kind of want to go to the cathedral next anyway. But I'm really not going to go anywhere until I get a weapon. I'll put the Harbinger over here because I don't want the Esclay Guardian to attack me while I'm attacking the Harbinger. I feel like putting the Harbinger up here in Xochimilco means that I'm going to have a showdown in Coyoacán, and that's not what I want. So, anyway, Harbinger's in town, and I draw an enemy, and I don't have a weapon. This one's tough, kids. This one's real tough, real swingy. I do have an elusive, which I think I might use here. Because I don't have to come back to this location, and this guy's not going to hunt. I could try to evade. I would be a 5 on 3, which is like decidedly not good enough, right? I need to be 4 up on any test. I'm going to actually try to pass. So we're going to play elusive as my first order of business. It has to be a revealed location with no enemies, which is just Coyoacán. So here I am. While I'm here, I could explore, but I'll take a damage in the process, which isn't awesome. I think all of my efforts are best. I mean, I could explore just because the Expedition Journal is giving me a free action to do it. But like, I really feel like a lot of my efforts should be are better spent getting ready to deal with the Harbinger. Oh, so this Fang is left behind. Elusive is a powerful card. I paid 2 XP for it. And I wouldn't change a thing. Could also use a Scene of the Crime right now, but I don't want to do that. That sounds stupid. So I think we're down to move, draw, draw. I think that's the town that we live in right now. So move. So Xochimilco, I have to spend 3 resources to explore. So that's not going to happen in the immediate future. Second action, let's draw. Third action, let's draw. Hey, the armor showed up. Well, I'll probably put that down just for the sake of like not dying. That'll really help a lot, actually. So enemy phase, the Harbinger hunts. The other enemies do not. Upkeep, actions, draw a card, gain a resource. We're getting down to the skinnies here. We got 3, should be 3 weapons in this deck, right? Because I did shuffle that other weapon in. Yeah, I did. Okay. Just making sure. All right, so we go to 1 doom out of 5. I forget if I said it or not, but my goal is to get 2 locations. I'm going to feel like this was a solid performance. 2 locations, no trauma. That's my goal. I'm going to draw arrows from the trees. Take a damage. And draw a card. I think I will. It's a second wind. Guess who's going to play that second wind? This boy is. Investigation phase. So first action, we're going to play second wind, which is going to heal me 2 damage. Draw my card. That's a weapon. We're going to make it, boys and girls. Although I'm broke as a joke, I need to get this armor down, but I've drawn... Did I draw an emergency cache? Like, where... I played both emergency caches and I'm still this broke? What happened to all my money? I don't know. I'm supposed to start the scenario with 2 extra resources. Because Alejandro is my bro. Let me double check that. Each investigator begins the scenario with 2 additional resources. Retroactively, I'm going to take that right now. Which I know is funny. But I got to fight the Harbinger! You guys! The Harbinger's real scary! Question is, do I actually put down the armor instead? What if I just punch the Harbinger? What if I don't even use the weapon? I kind of like that. Okay, so right now the Harbinger is going to move in. Deal me 2 damage, 2 horror. Brings me up to 2 damage, 4 horror. But I could make that 3 and 3 with some Monkey Pipe. Okay, not awesome. Don't love it. Play the armor. I take 1 damage and 2 horror. So I'm at 1 damage and 4 horror total. And then use the Smoking Pipe to heal one of those horrors. And the armor cancels it still. So then I'm at 1 and 3 horror. And then I just start punching. And I'll be at a non-ancient location when I fight this lady. So maybe 2 up is okay. Be 5 on 3. That's tough. That's the route I'm going to go, though, team. All right, so I'm going to play the Armor of Ardennes, which comes into play. And I could move to her. Does that matter? You get punched either way. I don't think it matters. And I guess I'll have to discard a card at the end of the round. I'll just discard a flashlight. I don't have a ton of time, and I'm not going to clear a lot more locations. Honestly, I'd be fine if I flipped a location, went over, interrogated the Esli Guardian, and called it a day, right? So last action, I guess I'll take a resource. Enemy phase. The Harbinger moves to me. She joins my threat area. And I take 2 damage and 2 horror. One of those damage goes on the armor, and the armor cancels the other damage. And then I draw with my mark ability. I probably didn't need to do that, actually. But like I said, I'm not going to use the flashlights, really. So it's probably fine. And then upkeep phase, draw a card, gain a resource, drawing the sign. Really bad time for that. Really bad time for drawing the sign. Okay, so I got to discard down to 3. This is ready. Get rid of the flashlights. Get rid of one of the Intrepids. Scene of the crime is a better clue card than perception is. I don't need both these weapons, so I'll get rid of the automatic. And man, that's tough. I don't have enough money for both of these assets. So I guess I'll discard Alice Luxley. Mythos phase, I go up to the top, and I draw Snake Scourge. Okay. So the only bad thing about Snake Scourge right now is that it blanks my smoking pipe. Maybe I should have gotten rid of Intrepid. I just kept envisioning that I was going to take a willpower test, and then it was going to boost my fight for the rest of the round, so I held on to it. But oh, and then my armor's blanked right now too. So I was going to try to heal a horror for free, but I won't. All right, this is bad. I might just die right now. I'm punching the Harbinger, and I'm 2 up. I could use Sophie both tests, right? Yeah, I can use Sophie both tests, and I'll be 4 up. And that means that my odds are pretty good. Even if I reveal a tablet. The retaliate is something I got to be worried about. Mark Harrigan puts up his dukes. Says, what do we say to the god of death? Not today. I'm going to choose not to use my mark draw because I have drawn the sign here anyway. All right, so 5, 6, 7 on 3. If I fail, Harbinger retaliates and I am defeated. Are you ready? Reveal another token. If you fail, you're extra dead. Okay. Skulls. -2. Yes. Okay. I deal the Harbinger damage, and she gets a resource token as well. Remember, I just got to punch her twice. Second action. Same plan. Sophie. 5, 6, 7 on 3. Okay, well. What can you do? It's Boundary Beyond him, right? Alright, so Harbinger retaliates, and I take 2 horror, and I die. Would have been nice to see a smoking pipe a little bit earlier. Somehow, I felt like I just burned through my money so fast. I spent 4 resources on healing. I played an Alice. I played an Alejandro. So that's 6. I played Prepare for the Worst and it whiffed. That was 7. I played a Blade for 10. Armor was 14. Smoking Pipe was 15. Journal was 17. So part of the money problem comes from replaying assets. So replaying weapons and stuff. Something I might upgrade to is a machete. Upgrade my enchanted blades. I won't have the +2 to fight, but I don't have to replay a weapon every other round, which is what it feels like. You know, like if I fail on one of my attacks, I have to use up all my charges on an enemy, which is just it's such a drag. So I don't know. I'm probably at the point where I can drop the flashlights because I never feel like I have enough time to even play them or the money to play them. There's a couple situations where they're nice, but if I can find another way to get clues, maybe they're worth it. Yeah, so that's a mental trauma. Let's see what happens here. I would love to just redraw that token and like, oh, I passed, and then I could actually keep playing. But solo is meant to be super swingy, and so it's really, you never know what's exactly going to happen to Mark Harrigan in his story. I know that I redrew on that auto fail at the end of Doom of Essley. Part of the mentality for that was you can't continue the campaign unless you win that scenario. And then either your investigator dies or you have to take, like, what is it, 10 vengeance or something? And I think my investigator would have died. So that was like, well, if I want to do this video series, I can either keep playing this one scenario until I get a good take, but I don't have enough free time for that, or I cheat. So I cheated that time. Maybe I would cheat here too, just to see how well I could do. But you know, it's whatever. I'm going to end up with like 2 XP and a trauma. So yeah, so let's see what the resolution is. When you next open your eyes, you're back in the bed of your hotel room. You raise your hand and shield your eyes from the sunlight, because it be bright. Rising to your feet requires a colossal effort. Are you calling me fat? Excuse me? Excuse me, sir? Are you calling me fat? Quietly, you call out for Ishtaka. That doesn't sound very effective. Ishtaka! How's she going to hear you? Your head pulses with pain as you attempt to remember the events of last night. Oh my god, what did I drink? I should have not involved you in this, Ishtaka says, but you're involved, like it or not. It's too late to go back. I figured out what I need to know, and you're going to go with me. If it was Act 2, add each Tenochtitlan location and play it as no clues to it to victory display. That should be a cool one, right? Okay. X paths are known to me. That's 1. I got 1 path. Harbinger is in play. She's got 3 damage. Vengeance point in the victory display. There's just the 1. And I get 2 experience points. So, alright. Well, not the end of the world, right? I mean, like, I would love to get a better result and really showcase that. But here we are. Such is the way of life. This is definitely hard. I'll say that much. Oh, you know what? I spent this gas, by the way. So let's get rid of that. I guess I'm taking chalk. I talked about that. I went to 2 mental trauma. I spent all my experience, and now I have 2 to spend, which isn't very awesome, but it's fine. My total XP goes up to, let's see, stick to the plan is 6, 16 with the armors, 17, 18 with elusive, 19, 20 with the upgraded handgun. So now I'm at 22 XP. And you got one path. Good to know. Great. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I know it feels like I kind of ended on a bad note, but you know what? I gotta keep the people guessing. If I just win all the time, then why are you even watching, right? So anyway, hey, really appreciate it. As a reminder on things that I'm upgrading into, I'm thinking about upgrading one of the enchanted blades into another handgun because you do get an extra charge out of that, an extra bullet for a +2 combat, which is pretty relevant. However, I might actually do a machete first. We'll have to see. I could save up for I've Had Worse. That would be a great use of my XP, I think, for Mark, because he really doesn't like taking damage, and he really doesn't like taking horror, and he really likes the money. But I would need to save up to 4 XP in order to do that. So I'll probably just upgrade one of my weapons for the next scenario, and then we'll see how we do. I do like to power game Heart of the Elders, but might be hard to control because, you know, I only know one path. So anyway, thanks for watching. You're the best. Happy Pride and happy 4th of July. Right around the corner. Go America. We're the reddest, the whitest, and the bluest. Is that what people say? That's not what people say, right?